When people run ads, one of the biggest issues that they have is actually getting people to show up to sales calls in the first place and actually get them to show up ready to buy. And in today's video, we're gonna be distilling down my top best practices that I have seen across all of our client accounts to increase show rates and get people to actually show up to sales calls pre-framed, warm, and ready to buy. This also, by the way, will increase cold traffic close rates and also help you increase that cash collected so you can feed more money back into ads, outspend your competition, and scale much faster. So my name is Seech. I run an advertising agency called Sell More Online. We use these same exact tactics to increase show rates and close rates on our client accounts in the info space, B2B, SaaS, and even real estate funds that are raising millions of dollars through ads. So without further ado, let's dive right in. First off, show rates are the lifeblood of any sales operation, okay? When prospects book calls but they don't actually show up, you're losing revenue, wasting time on your calendars, and missing opportunities to help people who actually need the thing that you solve. So we need to solve for this here. This document overall, in this video today, breaks down a comprehensive system that we use in our agency for our clients to drastically increase show rates, while again, accelerating your sales cycle and improving close rates. So the core concept is very simple here, okay? Most people who book calls are only at a peak interest point. So when you book in a sales call, right? If you click down below in the description and book in a call with me, you are at a peak interest point. So you are like, yes, I'm very interested, and you're curious in what we offer, but most likely you're not committed and sold. So you haven't done your research on me yet. You don't fully trust me, especially when it comes to ads. You know, YouTube might be a little bit different, content might be a little bit different, that you might know me a little bit, but when you come through ads, you're super cold. Your prospects are super cold. So they're not convinced that your solution will really work for them yet. So between the moment that they book in a call and their scheduled call occurs, doubt can creep into their mind. And they basically can find contradictory information online about your product or service or your company or brand. Their priorities might shift. They might simply forget why they were interested in your offer in the first place. They might forget what you do. That pain that they had in their stomach might have just totally evaporated. So a lot of things between when somebody books in a call and when the call is occurring can happen and basically screw up the overall sales cycle. So that time frame between when somebody books in a call and when the call occurs is what we focus on today. That is a big lift in show rates. If you can dial in this system and this process here, you will increase your show rates. And here's the solution. Basically what we do is from the moment somebody books in a call until the call occurs, we want to help them do research on us, educate them, and build trust. And again, we're gonna go over tactics on how to do this in this presentation. And you need to warm up prospects, answer the questions that they have circulating in their mind before they actually hop on that call, break down objections ahead of time, and make them feel like they already know you before the call even happens. And again, we're gonna dive into two types of ways to do that. And ideally you implement both of them in your actual funnel and in your company. So we have automated systems we can rely on, and then we have manual systems that we can rely on. So first off, why the heck do show rates drop in the first place? First off is the general just lack of trust. Like prospects, again, don't know you well enough yet. They're skeptical about whether you can actually deliver results and help them solve their problems. Also, negative research findings. You know, they go and do their due diligence on you. They find contradictory information about maybe the actual opportunity in the industry itself. Like if you're selling, I don't know, crypto trading solutions or something like that, and all your marketing says, crypto's great right now, but they go online and they research a bunch of stuff about your company and they find negative things about your company, and also just research crypto in general and they find a bunch of negative stuff about crypto trading, they're obviously gonna be turned off. Again, negative reviews can turn people off, and negative Reddit threads about your company or again, your related industry or product or service can turn people off. So another thing is too, the prospects aren't actually prioritizing the call and have low interest in general. So they're simply not interested enough to prioritize showing up to the freaking call in general, right? The initial curiosity they had faded and other things have taken a precedence. Another reason is prospects simply have insufficient information and education on you and your offer. So they don't understand your offer well enough, what you do. They don't see the value in it. They don't think they can get good expected results. They see too many risks in it and they don't understand the risk. They don't see the upside, whatever it is. So many different things circle on in their mind that can prevent them from showing up. This is why show rates drop in the first place, because you don't address all of these things. And if something is left in their mind unresolved, some question, some objection, or some sort of negative thing that they find online about you or your industry is left unresolved in their mind, they will not show up. And if they do show up, they're going to show up super cold, guarded, and just slinging out objections left and right. And half of the call turns into essentially an education call, and that crushes the momentum that you have in the sales call. So understanding these core reasons is critical because your entire show rate optimization strategy needs to address each one systematically. You can't just send generic reminder emails and hope for the best. You need a comprehensive approach that builds trust, provides information, addresses concerns, and keeps your solution top of mind through this entire time from when they booked and when the call occurs, right? So many things can happen in their mind in between them. We need to keep you top of mind and be educating them and building trust with them and pre-framing them before that call. And the biggest mistake companies make that we step into is, treating the booking like it's the finish line. In reality, it's just the starting line. The real work begins after somebody books in, and the companies that understand this are the ones that we see with 70, 75, 80% plus show rates, much faster click to close cycles, and much higher close rates. So first off, again, we have automated and manual systems. So the automated systems, this is where we're relying on marketing automation that disperses information to prospects at scale. So this is kind of your spray and pray approach that ensures every prospect gets exposed to key information, regardless of whether they engage directly with your team. And we have a couple different things that we can implement on the automated side here. Oh, and by the way, in our Inner Circle program, we have a ton of SOPs that go way deeper on both of these things, by the way, like our 35-page pre-call sales mastery SOP and our propaganda machine SOP goes way more in depth into the content remarketing and what sort of videos you should create, how to set up the campaigns, the back-end email flows. We have a ton of AI models that helps you write all the emails, and also the confirmation page video, ideation, and structures. We help you with that. We have templates. So if you're interested in the Inner Circle, you can click down the description below. There's going to be a quick video on that page that tells you everything about the program. You can schedule a call with myself and get rolling. Also, if you want us to just implement everything for you here, done for you, there's a link down in the description below about our Sprint offer, which is a perfect fit for you. And also, if you book in through there, we can talk about our done for you agency services. Now, moving back into the automated systems. First is the backend email flows with value-dense content. Second is just general reminders, emails, and texts. Third is organic content remarketing campaigns. And fourth is our confirmation page structure. The advantages of automated systems is they're scalable, they're consistent, they work 24/7, right? We're just setting these automations up inside of our CRM and workflows, and they don't need human interaction, but they're a bit more spray and pray. They're less targeted and personalized to the actual prospects that come through the funnel, and they get ignored easier than manual outreach. So the magic happens when you combine both of these again. So when you have the automated systems and the manual outreach systems, which essentially are personalized human-to-human communication. Yes, natural human outreach, where your sales team acts as advisors. We're going to talk about the advisor frame in a little bit here, but this is where you uncover specific objections prospects have, provide custom resources to them, like sending sales assets and stuff to them, that is tailored to each prospect's concerns and questions. So this is varying your ways of actually personally reaching out to prospects before sales calls, so using selfie videos, voice note, calls, text, email, group chat, stuff like that. Sending custom sales assets and resources to combat objections, raise interest, and build up trust before that call. And also, again, group chats with founders and closers. I love this. If you have a closer, and especially if you're a founder with a big personal brand, adding in your closer, you, and the prospect into a group chat and dispersing this information is so effective. I love doing that. And use a blue text provider like Link. We love those guys over there. I don't get an affiliate rep from them. We just run their ads, and they're honestly a fantastic service. So anyways, the advantage of manual outreach is it's highly effective, it builds deep trust, it uncovers hidden objections, but it does take work. So having both of these ensures that no prospect slips through the cracks. And really just manual outreach, again, is that human touch you need to build that relationship with the prospect before the call, get them to open up about the questions and objections that they have so you can combat them ahead of time. So talking about automated system number one, this is the back-end email flows. So your back-end email flows are not just generic drip campaigns that everyone basically throws out at you. These are research-oriented emails that are designed to speed up the prospect's due diligence process and make it incredibly convenient for them to get all of their questions answered. So the goal is to essentially guess what objections and questions they have proactively and address them before the call in these email flows. So we're just writing a bunch of different emails and firing out to prospects through marketing automations and workflows. Basically what you can do is you can go and take a bunch of your sales calls, run it through ChatGPT or some sort of LLM, and feed it and basically ask it, what questions do I typically get? What objections do I typically get? And then format a bunch of different emails centered around those FAQs and objections. And we also want to toss out different things. And these emails, by the way, should be short and snappy. We're not using a bunch of marketing fluff and like copywriting lingo and all this stuff. They should be short, snappy, and value dense, and actually want to get consumed by your prospects. So we want to break up them as well into highly scannable formats. So like 1 or 2 sentences, break. 1 or 2 sentences, break. We don't want just like a massive amount of paragraphs, just like one big block of text, because people are just going to open it, say, I'm not reading that, and then bounce. So make sure short, snappy, and break everything up into a nice, visually appealing and digestible format. So we want to also incorporate images, bullet point lists, links to sales assets like SOPs, videos, and resources. And again, never send a mass wall of text. Make it easy to consume. And now the content focus of your emails should be covering the urgent reasons why a prospect needs to move forward with your product or service or this opportunity you're pitching them. It should also touch on different current macro circumstances that affect your industry that could also drive that urgency up. Detailed case studies with real numbers. So not just saying, we got this person this result, and this result, and this result. No, break down the actual case study. We want to talk about the meat, the tactics, the strategies, so they can actually see that it's real. We're not just putting a bunch of like Slack texts inside of our emails and stuff. We're actually breaking down real, transparent results. Like me personally, I go inside of ad accounts and I show the back end of ad accounts and even some stat reports for our clients. Love doing that. Other things are transparent answers to common questions that people have and bring up on sales calls or before your sales calls, or just that people have in general. Like you can go and look online on Reddit and stuff like that and different forums in your industry and find what common questions people have and formulate those into your emails as well. And then honest breakdowns of objections, setting some expectations of your service and product and what it's like to use it, transparent risks, upsides, all that stuff we want to weave in here. Again, no marketing fluff, no vague opportunity selling language, just strategy, value, and information is what we want to give in these email flows. Now, automated system number 2 is weaving in the content remarketing. And essentially, content remarketing is one of the most underutilized strategies for increasing show rates. And here's how it works, okay? Basically, what we're doing is you load up everyone who booked in a call or filled out an application or opted in through your funnel into a custom audience in Facebook or whatever platform that you're using. Then you hit them with a high volume of short form and long form organic content that naturally appears in their feed. So we're not spam DMing them stuff, right? This content is not salesy too. So there's no aggressive calls to action. And instead, you're essentially explaining your process. You're giving them tons of value. You're breaking down results you've gotten for clients, discussing the expected outcomes of using your product or service, and demonstrating your expertise overall. The goal is to get prospects completely indoctrinated into your way of thinking before they hop on the call with you. And the psychology behind this is, when somebody books in a call and they start seeing your face over and over and over and over and over again, and then they're getting emails, and then they're getting texts, and then they're getting calls from the actual sales team and everything for the next few days, it creates a huge familiarity bias and a bunch of trust in them. You're not just essentially hoping that they show up to a call that they booked in for. No, we're taking proactive approaches here. And this, again, builds up that familiarity bias, educates, nurtures, and pre-frames them. And it looks very natural because it's just natural in feed. And by the time the call happens, they feel like they already kind of know you, right? You're not a stranger anymore. You're someone that they've been learning from for days. This dramatically increases trust and show rates. And we'll also use this on funnels like webinar funnels, challenge funnels. We'll basically hit them with a bunch of content and also emails, by the way, too. Like all of this stuff can be applied to any funnel type, okay? Any funnel type it can be applied to. Shoot, even e-com stuff it can be applied to. Like abandoned checkouts and stuff, you can just ram them with content, email, stuff like that. And actually, ideally, if it's a high ticket one, you can have people call them. So again, all this stuff can be applied to multiple different industries and funnel types. But for this purpose of this presentation here, I'm talking a little bit more about like call funnels. But again, this can be formulated into anything. So when somebody opts into a webinar, you can hit them with these emails and this content. Just make sure that the actual length that they're in the custom audience for is basically the length up until the webinar or up until the challenge, something like that. So again, long form organic content. So in-depth videos explaining your methodology, case study breakdowns, not lazy case studies that just flex, and educational content that positions you as the expert short form organic content, so quick tips, results, client testimonials, and bite-sized value bombs that are easy to consume on mobile. So these are just like normal short form content. That's all we're doing. Normal short form content that just works. So ideally you have some long forms that have performed really well and short forms that have performed well. And you essentially just load these up into the content remarketing sets and then run them. But if you have to sit down and actually like script out and film some new ones based upon different like questions your sales team gets or objections you want to handle, or just different like things that are changing up in your industry, again, like if you can formulate some real urgent reasons that are actually legit reasons why somebody needs to move forward with your product or service right now, then weave them into the content. Like for example, a couple of our crypto clients that do like crypto trading and investing, there's a bunch of stuff that's being passed in legislation and all that about crypto and why you need to basically get started on it now. There's a bunch of ETFs coming out. So he's making short form and long form content around these ideas and around these things that are happening and saying basically like you need to get started now because of this and all that. So he's making nice short form content and long form content with no CTAs, and we're loading these into these content remarketing sets. So again, if you could take stuff like that, it's super, super key. So the next automated system is utilizing confirmation pages. So every single prospect sees your confirm page after they book in a call. And again, we have a huge SOP on this inside of our Inner Circle program, and we also give it to all of our done for you clients. We actually build out these videos for them, script them, edit them, put them on the confirmation page, everything. So we do all this done for you. But again, all the details are below in the description if you want to check those offers out. But most companies waste this valuable real estate with boring, hey guys, thanks for booking, we're super excited for your call, garbage stuff like that. And this is a massive missed opportunity. So your confirmation page should be a comprehensive resource hub that helps prospect do research and get educated before your call. So we call it like the video vault approach, all right? So basically what we do is we create 10 to 20 short videos, so usually about 45 seconds to 5 minutes long each, that answer common questions, break down objections, basically detail the expected results that you could get with the product or service, discuss downsides, and cover really everything else that might be in your prospect's mind before the call that could prevent them from showing up to the call in the first place or showing up in a state ready to buy. And we layer all of these videos on your confirmation page so prospects can essentially self-educate. So here's one right here for one of our clients that is essentially raising money through MedAds. So they're trying to raise money for their car wash fund, and we have the main urgency video, basically why you need to invest in car washes right now and why it's an insane opportunity right now in 2025. Then we have all these videos here that breaks down different questions that they get and objections. Then we actually have a breakdown of like their nice investor portal and everything. And then here we have a video that addresses a negative bigger pockets thread that they have online. This has been something that pops up in the sales process, and it's a big zombie, and it's something that is just a complete lie about their company. So guess what? CEO of this company, our client, just went in and we had him just address this entirely. He screen shares the actual bigger pockets thread, explains the situation, and there we go. And usually we like to add FAQs down here in text format and also case studies, but we didn't particularly do this for this one, but this is performing really well. So this is a page that people see after they book in, but also we make another version here for the sales team to fire this out to prospects if need be before the actual call as well. So each video, like on this page here, attacks a different, topic, different question, objection, stuff like that. So again, we want to essentially answer common questions they have, snap objections, break down downsides and challenges, and also talk about the expected risks and results. In this main video here, we love talking about the real reasons why they should get started right now and prioritize this opportunity. Some other things we put on the page, again, text FAQs. So we just break these down into text format. Some people love to actually read them in text format versus video format. AI chatbot integrations. This has been a newer strategy that's performing exceptionally well in some tests we're doing, and it's pretty much exclusive to us right now. And I know some of you are gonna snap this, but I hope you guys take it and actually see some great results with it. So we're actually loading up all of this information. So all these different video transcripts and some like SOPs and stuff like that from the actual company itself. And we're loading it into an AI chatbot on the actual confirmation page that pops up whenever they're on that page, says, hey, ask me anything about our fund or our offer, whatever it is. And basically we're seeing people have like full-fledged conversations there with the chatbot. And this is where somebody can step in, like a human can also step in and start talking as well, or just like dial them right then and there when they're talking with the AI chatbot. But it's super cool. Seeing some awesome stuff with that. And then case studies as well. We love layering this page on with case study breakdowns, not just flexi case studies. And something I'll note as well, kind of go into the email flows, is again, we do rely on just like leaving on automatic Zoom or Calendly text and email reminders. Those just get good deliverability rates. But again, that's not what I'm talking about with the backend email flows. We're actually building value dense email flows that get consumed by the prospect and they want to consume them. We're not just relying on, hey, your call's coming up. But we do leave on like the Calendly reminders, like, hey, your call's coming up in 24 hours, 1 hour, 15 minutes. But sometimes we'll add in a phone number, like this is automated. So if you have any questions, reach out to this number here. We'll sometimes add those inside of those automatic reminders. So that's the automated side. Now let's move into the manual outreach side. So this is where we want to implement that advisor frame. So this is where most sales teams fail, okay? And transparent, most marketers and media buyers. Like this is why I'm talking about this stuff, because it's super important for us as an ad agency to get ads to work. We have to actually get deals to close. And to do that, you have to have some sort of manual outreach approach. So this is where most sales teams fail again. They're lazy. They rely entirely on automated systems and maybe send like one generic text before the call, which leaves massive amounts of money on the table. Manual outreach, when done correctly, is the highest leverage activity your sales team can engage in. And the core frame here is your salespeople need to approach prospects as advisors, not salespeople trying to qualify or close them right off the freaking bat, especially your setters. Some setters can get super aggressive, right? Like the first freaking question should not be like, hey, how much revenue do you guys make? No. Like I say down here, you should reach out with the frame of, hey, I'm here to help you figure out if this is essentially a right fit for you and answer any questions that you have. I have X resource, Y resource, and Z resource that I think is a great fit for you based upon what I see online about you or what I see on your application questions. So let me know if I can text these things over to here or email them, or let me know which resource you want. I want to basically get you all the questions you need answered before the actual call we have together. So transparently, you prioritize showing up to the call in the first place. I love having our salespeople say stuff like that. So the entire goal of pre-call outreach is to get prospects to reply first off and reveal what's holding them back, or just reveal what questions that they have, right? And you're not really trying to sell them just yet before the call. You're trying to help them do research and get their questions answered so they show up to the call informed and ready to move forward. This frame shift is crucial for you and your sales team. This is custom tailored follow-up that is manual and not lazy. It's custom and personalized per prospect that comes through your funnel. So a couple things that we like to do on the manual side: double dialing multiple times per day, using blue text messages that actually look like they came from a human, voice notes, selfie videos, group chats, human-like interaction, human-like outreach is super key. And the outreach cadence is basically in a 3 to 4 day window before the actual call is set to occur. You should be, again, reaching out multiple times per day through different channels. We also love reaching out on social, so Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, stuff like that. Hit them there if they're not answering in other modes. So call them, send a text, leave a voicemail, send a selfie video. Vary your approach and timing. The goal is to make contact before the call actually happens. And when you do make contact, ask open-ended questions like, what questions do you have that I can help answer before our call? Or what's the biggest thing you're trying to figure out right now? Or is there anything that might be preventing you from moving forward with an opportunity like this? I love asking a question like, hey, so usually people have a certain question or something circulating in their mind that actually prevents them from moving forward on an opportunity like this, or even showing up to the call we have together in general. So let me know what that one thing is for you, because I have a ton of resources like X, Y, and Z that I can send over to you. But let me know what that one thing is for you. And you'll be shocked at how many people reveal exactly what's holding them back when you ask this genuinely. And another big thing that I like to do, this is a little secret tip for some of you guys out there who are actually taking notes and listening up until this point, but something I love doing as well is I'll have the salespeople text the prospects right when somebody opts in. And by the way, your speed to lead should be super fast, right? If you're doing something like this, like a call funnel or whatever it is, and even like a webinar funnel, pairing salespeople up with opt-ins that are qualified on webinars and challenges is so awesome. Works so good. But anyways, your speed to lead on any funnel should be super fast. But once somebody actually books in a call, something your sales team can do is text them saying, hey, name, saw you just booked in a call for X time on X day. This is Evan from Sell More Online. So closer's name from company name. I'm just finishing up a call and I'll give you a ring in about 5 or so minutes. Cheers. And what that does is by you saying your name beforehand, this is your name or the closer's name. What happens is a lot of the times when you call from a cold number, essentially it will say maybe Evan or maybe your salesperson's name in the actual caller ID section versus just like the city or something like that, or God forbid, potential spam. So we love doing that because it'll get much better pickup rates. But the whole thing is we try to just increase engagement rates and connection rate before the actual call so we can manually dig into different pain points they have or questions, objections, and just give them value before the call and resources that they need to show up to the call and get a lot of their questions answered. And just kind of going back real quick to the email flow. So by the way, again, these are not just generic Calendly reminders and Zoom reminders. We will keep those on because they do have good deliverability. So we still have the usual, hey, your call's coming up in an hour, 24 hours, 15 minutes, here's the link, stuff like that. We definitely still do those for sure. But in those messages, we'll put in stuff like, hey, if you want to text us or call us, this is like an automated number. Here's the number that you can reach out to us manually at. So we'll put something in there like that. But essentially just know that we do leave those automated reminders on, but we don't rely on them. These are value-based emails that actually get consumed and prospects want to freaking consume. So now moving on to another topic, killing zombies. So basically uncovering questions and objections and sending out custom resources to prospects. That's the whole point of the manual outreach approach. So once a prospect reveals their questions or objections through manual outreach, you now have a golden opportunity to kill zombies before the call. And zombies are basically the doubts, objections, and concerns lurking in the back of your prospect's mind that prevents them from buying or even showing up to the call in the first place. So your job is to eliminate these before the sales call happens. So when somebody tells you what's holding them back, immediately send them some sort of custom resource that addresses that specific concern. This could be an SOP, a video, a case study that pertains to their specific situation. So custom, right? This is like, hey, you're an accounting firm dealing with this. We have this video about an accounting firm that was also dealing with this. Here it is. And we help them get past that. A past newsletter, a detailed breakdown, or just any other asset that directly tackles their objection. And it's personalized. It's not just like, hey, yeah, I'm dealing with bad ads, right? Or just bad ad performance. And you just randomly like just send them some sort of thing on like show rates, right? It's like, well, I don't even know if show rates are the issue, right? So it's like, give me some more details. It's up, then I'll send you something custom. So that's where it's like, these need to be custom tailored. So you can come up with the actual things to send them ahead of time by looking at their application questions or what you see publicly. Like for example, I'm an ad agency. So I'm gonna look into their funnel or ad library, any prospects that we get, and send them custom resources if I can't get in touch with them before the call based upon what I see that they might be struggling with. Or if they say in the application, you know, they're struggling with show rates, I might send them this video, for example, showing them how we solve show rates. For example, again, if somebody says, I'm worried this won't work for my specific industry, send them a case study of someone in their exact industry or an adjacent industry and draw those connections in the actual message so they can see, oh yeah, this is like me. Or just send them a massive document of like 100 different offers and industries you've worked on and be like, you're not special. So another one is like, hey, if they say I'm concerned about the time commitment, send them a detailed breakdown of exactly what's required from clients and how you minimize their time investment in your product or service. This could be like a roadmap document or an SOP. Those are really good. If they say, you know, I've tried something similar and it didn't work out, then send them a video explaining why your approach is totally different and what makes it more effective, and a case study from somebody who was in that exact position. So again, SOPs and guides work really good. Explainer videos, YouTube videos, detailed case studies, past newsletters, all these things are, you know, different custom resources that you can send out to prospects, different sales assets and trust assets. So this custom resource sharing is incredibly powerful because it shows you're actually listening and you care about their specific concerns and have assets that back up what you're saying and can basically show them how their specific concerns and problems can be solved. You're not just like sending them generic sales material or saying, yep, we could solve that. You're actually showing them, right? You're providing tailored information that directly addresses what they told you matters to them. This builds trust faster than almost anything else you can do. And the key is having a library of resources ready to go. So a big old trust asset and sales asset vault. I love to give the sales teams we work with. They just have a ton of videos, documents, case studies covering every common question and objection. When somebody reveals a concern, they can just immediately go in there, fire it over to the prospect. They don't have to really create new stuff on the spot. Of course, you're creating new stuff occasionally on the spot when you get new questions and objections, but for the most part, you want to have a big old library of resources ready to go. And here's a little bonus tactic as well for you guys. I love doing this again, the founder group chat strategy. So one of the most effective manual outreach tactics is the founder group chat if you have a closer. So this works especially well for high ticket offers or when you're trying to convert particularly high valuable prospects. So here's how it works. Basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna create an iMessage group chat or just use some sort of similar blue text platform with 3 people: the prospect, the closer who's taking the call, and the founder of the company. The founder ideally sends a quick selfie video or voice note introducing the closer and vouching for them. So saying, hey, prospect name, this is founder name. I want to introduce you to John here who's in the chat. He's been on my team for a couple of years now, and he's an absolute beast at ads and all things funnels and marketing. So John's going to be on the actual call helping you Thursday at 2 p.m. He's here to answer any questions you have in this group chat. So am I. John's going to reach out in a few minutes here to see if we can help you with anything before the actual call and answer any questions. So again, looking forward to hopefully having you with us. Cheers. So that works super well. This simple tactic accomplishes several things simultaneously. And first off, it seems super human and genuine. First, it adds massive credibility by having the founder personally involved, especially if the founder is more of a celebrity figure in the space, has a lot of followers, stuff like that, and a good personal brand. This works so well. And even if not, it creates less of a disconnect between, somebody sees an ad with the founder and then they get in contact with this like closer or something. There's less of that weird jarring effect of like, yeah, I don't know who this guy is. I just saw this dude on an ad and stuff like that. So it builds this nice congruency and bridge. But second, it creates a sense of importance and VIP treatment for the prospect. Third, it makes the interaction feel incredibly genuine and personal rather than a typical sales process. It's a great pattern interrupt. And fourth, it gives the closer instant credibility by association with the founder. And the founder is basically building them up, right? So it's not just some random sales dude with broccoli hair that I'm talking to. This group chat format also makes it easy for prospects to ask questions and get responses from either the closer or the founder directly. It removes friction from the communication process and makes the prospect feel like they have direct access to people who matter. And important note, don't call your sales team a closer, okay, please. I've seen some of that, don't do it. Use their name and position like advisor, consultant, or specialist. The language should feel natural, professional, not like, obvious sales terminology. I've actually seen it to where they're like, hey, talking to my setter. It's like, come on, man. Let's don't do this. Now, when can you actually qualify prospects? Because again, I talked about earlier that you shouldn't just be reaching out initially with the frame of trying to qualify prospects, but sure, before the actual call, you do want to protect the sales team's calendars and qualify people a little bit. So common mistake salespeople make, like I just said, is trying to qualify prospects immediately when they first make contact. They jump straight into questions like, hey, what's your budget, your timeline, decision-making authority, et cetera, et cetera. This kills trust, builds up sales resistance, and makes prospects feel defensive immediately. So they're not going to open up. Instead, you need to build trust first through the genuine advisor style outreach we were talking about before, and then naturally transition into qualification. So the right sequence, right, should be first, reach out with the frame of helping them do research and get questions answered, build rapport, get them to reveal their concerns and objections, send them custom resources, have real conversations, and once you've established trust, and they're engaging with you, then you can start asking qualifying questions. And at this point, qualifying questions, they don't feel like an interrogation. They feel like a natural part and progression of the conversation. Yes, this will take some work. Yes, you're going to talk to a couple bad prospects for a couple minutes, and you're going to put a little bit of work into that. Just chill out because the ROI on the other side of just freaking doing this is way better than not doing it. So do it and suck it up. So, you're not trying to see if they're good enough to talk to you. You're trying to understand their situation so you can determine if you can actually help them and if they should be prioritized. And this also helps too because a lot of salespeople mistake low interest and low intent for bad lead quality. So if they get on the phone with somebody and they're not immediately just slinging out a bunch of, like, oh, I'm at $100,000 a month and all this stuff and whatever, and all these like metrics and stuff, they're like, they're not that good of a lead. Well, they might just need to open up to actually tell you their true story. Like when I get on calls with people that I'm totally cold with, I'm not telling them my freaking revenue initially, and I'm not like telling them transparently what it is. Heck no, because I know they're just gonna like backhand slap me with a higher priced offer or something like that. Like I don't want that. Build up the trust with me first, and maybe even ask me some questions like what our ad spend is, or some other questions that don't reveal revenue, but still give an indication of the financial health of the company and the qualification monetarily of the actual founder and the company, but it's not like as invasive. So don't just immediately ask me those questions. Build up that trust with me first, and then I'll tell you the actual truth. So again, we do initial contact, reach out with the advisor frame, offer to help with research or answer questions. We're not qualifying yet. Next, we want to build up trust with them. So have genuine conversations, uncover objections. And this can all be done in the same conversation, by the way. It doesn't have to be like multiple before the call or like text and call. It can all be done the same one. Send them custom resources, establish rapport and credibility, then have natural qualification. So once trust is built, ask qualifying questions that feel like a natural part of helping them determine fit for whatever offer you're selling. And then based on the actual qualification, you could prioritize them and move them onto different calendars. So if somebody booked onto a priority calendar through the actual regular form and everything, you can actually say, yeah, so I know you're talking to Johnny on Tuesday, but honestly, I think you're gonna be a better fit based upon our conversation to talk with Ashley, who's our specialist with XYZ offer. And I think this is just a better fit for you right now. So like, let me know if that's totally cool. I can switch the time and who you're speaking to. If you still want to talk to Johnny or whatever, still can, but I think you're a better fit for Ashley. And that's going to build up trust immediately there and make that downsell way easier. This approach allows you to help prospects self-select out if it's genuinely not a fit, and also get them to reveal information in a truthful way. Again, they're going to reveal these deeper, more sensitive things about their company more naturally if you build up trust before you ask these questions. And so now let's go into some other factors that can also affect your show rates. So again, while automated systems and manual outreach are the primary drivers of show rates from what we've seen, several other factors can really significantly impact your show rates. So first off, is your offer actually good and optimized for cold traffic? Every single offer, like on our done for you services, in our program, or just on our sprint offer, we optimize the offer for cold traffic. Is your offer actually compelling enough to pull cold traffic all the way through to a sales call? If your offer isn't strong enough or clearly articulated, people will book out of curiosity maybe, but they won't prioritize showing up to the call. It's not an actual need. Your offer needs to be so attractive to the right people that you're targeting through your ads and speaking to through your ads, that prospects feel like they'd be stupid to miss out on the call. So basically have this frame. Do people actually want what you freaking sell? That's cold traffic. Next is online reputation. So people will research your name or your company online on Google before your actual call. They're going to type you in. They're going to look at different threads and publications you have online. So when people Google your company, are there negative Reddit threads, critical PR articles, bad reviews, or competitor hit pieces? If you're not addressing these things proactively, like on the confirmation page, in the sales process, like I showed you, on that one confirmation page example, or in the backend email flows, then prospects are going to find them during their research process and ghost you. They're going to make the assumptions in their mind, right? The whole frame here is we're trying to help them do research and we're trying to guide them, okay? We're trying to kind of establish a little bit of propaganda in their mind about our product, service, opportunity, and industry. If you only allow them to just research themselves, they might find things that contradict what you want them to essentially have in their mind. So if you have bad stuff online, address it transparently, send it to prospects. Traffic quality is another big thing. So bad traffic simply doesn't show up at high rates, even with perfect outreach systems. So if your ads are attracting the wrong people, your targeting is off, or you're using the wrong standard event, your pixel's not conditioned, or you're, running a freaking link click campaign or traffic campaign or some garbage like that, you're not going to have a good time when it comes to show rates, regardless if you have all these things in place, because you're just getting bad people through the funnel and bad traffic on the front end. So make sure your ads are speaking to the right audience, the messaging is right, the environment of your ads is right, the creative drives all the targeting. So make sure your creative and your messaging is targeting people that you want, that match with your offer, and they're high quality. Different platforms for different offers can also influence show rates. Like sometimes on Google ads, we see way better show rates than Meta ads. Sometimes YouTube ads, vice versa. Again, start with one platform, especially with a low budget, but some of our high spend accounts where they're spending 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 plus per day, we kind of move different platforms around and test different things. So we'll see like, oh, interesting. Like the scalability is not really there on Google, but the show rates are good. Meta, the scalability is there, but the show rates are a little bit less. So you just have to basically model that out and forecast that out. So just know that like traffic quality and the platforms can also influence show rates. Then of course, congruency in your funnel messaging. Your messaging needs to be consistent through the entire funnel. So if your ads talk about fixing show rates, your landing page should talk about fixing show rates. Your email flow should talk about fixing show rates. Your sales process, guess what? Should talk about fixing show rates. Should it be like, yep, now we're gonna help fix your close rates and all this. No, congruency is key. Any incongruency creates confusion and doubt. So make sure your messaging is congruent and there's a through line congruent messaging from the ad, the funnel, the emails, the sales process, everything. And again, some companies have legitimate negative press or reviews that need to be addressed. The worst thing you can do is ignore these and hope prospects don't find them. Instead, address them head on in your email flows, confirmation page videos, and manual outreach. Put your own spin on the situation. Explain your side of things. You do have a say in this, so tell your story. Explain your side of the story, show how you've improved or why the criticism wasn't valid, and prospects will respect the honesty and transparency. Don't hide from it. I know this sucks. Don't hide from it, just do it. If you're an ad agency and you have a couple bad reviews online about campaigns that sucked, show the campaigns, show the clients, show that, hey, we refunded these guys. This is what went wrong. This is what we changed internally to ensure that this never happens again. Stuff like that is key. Prospects just want to see that you have addressed this situation and are trying to make improvements and moving forward. And then finally, some key metrics to track is, of course, show rate, close rate, offer rate, so how many offers are actually being made to the prospects, sales cycle timeline, pre-call connection rate, so how many leads that booked in or filled out an application are being connected with, outreach frequency, and warmth of leads on sales calls. So the warmth isn't necessarily like a hard metric, but this is something that we gauge on a weekly basis from the clients we work with, from their sales teams. Like, hey, what do the leads look like? What objections they have? What industries are they from? How affluent are they? Are they like good quality, et cetera, et cetera? And they give us some great breakdowns of that. And sometimes we actually have sales EOD channels for our clients where their closers and setters will type in notes about all the different calls that they had, and we'll just run that through ChatGPT and start to gauge the warmth and like objections and questions from there. And then we could also just weave in those objections and questions into the actual front end marketing, the ads, the confirmation page videos, emails, stuff like that, right? So make sure to also audit your sales team and go through your own automated flows and manual outreach from time to time. You'll be surprised at how many things you see and you're like, what the heck? This is terrible. So that is how you can increase your show rates through ads. And again, this is going to help your cash collected cycles speed up. And also it's going to increase your cold traffic close rates. And if you want to work with us on a completely done for you basis, there's a link down in the description below. You could click on, enter some information about your business. And also there's gonna be a video on that page, by the way, explaining our entire process, what makes us different, and our offer in general. So you can check that out. And then also if you want to work on a consulting basis with myself and Cam, who's from my team as well, my COO, absolute beast, you can click on the Inner Circle link down in the description below and join our Inner Circle consulting program. So I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Peace.